Everyone, welcome back to part 2 of preparing for a black belt grading. Today the last one we talked about the energy systems, and we hinted at the 3 principles being specificity, fitness, progressive overload, and a periodization. And so this video is going to explain those. We're only going to keep it fairly general to give you an insight. Now, the first thing we need to understand is specificity, fitness. And it refers to what the name suggests, is that fitness is very specific. If you are training for a running event, you need to run. Yes, you can do alternative things, but the majority of your training has to be running. Not only that, that incorporates using the muscle contractions that we need to do, the motor unit patterns, recruitment for the activity, and also the energy systems that we're doing. So with running, if you're training for a 100-meter sprint or training for a marathon, the way you go about it is going to be different. Yes, you're going to do running, but it's going to be very specific to your needs. Same with swimming. Are you an ocean swimmer or a pool swimmer? Are you training for an ocean swim event or a pool swim event? So again, that's how specific it needs to be. So we want to do the activity that we're training for in our conditioning. We want to ensure that our movement patterns replicate what we do in the event of black belt grading, and that we incorporate our energy systems to train our energy systems that are going to be used for our event, black belt grading. So that's what we mean by specificity fitness. So some people go, oh, I've got to get ready for my grading, I'm going for a run. Fantastic, why? At a black belt grading, you're not going to go out and do a road run. So why are you doing that in your training? If it is a one-off, once a week that you're doing, so you get outside, do something different, clear the head on the road, whatever you want to do, then that's fine. You can do that. But we still need to focus on our majority of our conditioning work still should replicate karate. Next term that we came up with is progressive overload. And what we mean by is how we continue to build and develop our fitness. Just doing the same thing all the time will have an initial benefit, but then we'll lose that benefit if we don't then stimulate the systems that we're training further. So progressive overload is the way we add a little bit every time. Now, if you look at the science, they'll tell you that 5 to 10% increments. That's a strength and conditioning perspective. Physios will talk about 2.5% to 5%. Depends what you're training for. We don't have to be that exact. At the Olympic level, yeah, they probably are that exact. At the elite soccer level, yes, they're probably more exact. But for us, we just need to know we have to do a little bit more every time. And this also ensures that we don't train really hard, stimulate all this, and then not breach that level again, because the body is extremely efficient at adapting to what we do. So if we stress it, it will advance and improve our systems to deal with it. But if we then don't stress it further, it will start taking back some of that extra benefit it gave us. So we do progressive overload, and we'll go on to detail that with the programs. So we've got to think each time we have to do a little bit more, and we want to measure it to make sure that we are doing little bit increments, that we're not going too hard, too soft one days and varying us. There's further things such as step cycles, I won't go into that. And how we go about doing this comes down to a periodized program. And the way to look at a periodized program is looking at a house plan. You're building a house, so you have all these blueprints on how to build the house. And that's what we refer to in a periodized plan. Now, when you start building a house, the first thing you have to lay is a foundation. And that's the same with developing your body. We have to lay that foundation down. And for us, that's called the general preparation phase. Now, depending how long you have, will depend how long your general preparation is. Primarily, you want it to be the longest of the phases. So if you've got 6 months, you're looking at about 8 weeks. If you've got 4 months, you're looking maybe about 6 weeks. And what it's about doing is working aerobically to lay down that foundation and to gradually build and increase the volume. And that's going to lay down the foundation to then enhance your anaerobic capacity. Now, once we've done our general preparation, the next thing we go to is a specific preparation. And what that deals with is more specific to the actual event. So that is perhaps faster movements, higher intensity. If you've got a particular area that you're weakness at, this is when we'd focus on it. So in here, we start doing something more closely related to the black belt grading. Intensity is higher. Now, it's not going to be as long. Again, you might have 6 weeks or 4 weeks to focus on specificity or the specific preparation phase. So this is like putting the walls up on your house. Then we move into the next phase, and that's the pre-competition phase. This is when your intensities need to be high all the time. We're training we need to train anaerobically to improve our anaerobic capacity. So we need to stress our anaerobic system in conditioning. And so the intensity has to be high. So we're not talking about 80, 85%. We're talking almost all out effort. And just do it, short break, do it again. So effort upon effort upon effort, replicating a grading. So that's our pre-competition. Again, that's only looking, mate, 3 to 4 weeks, depending on the length of period of time. And then the final one is we have our competition phase. And this is when it replicates the grading. So you warm up, bang, you get into it, and you're going hard and fast all the time. You're doing your line drills, you're doing your kata, and possibly some kumite. I'll talk about kumite a bit later, the easier way to train for that. That's only going to be 1 or 2 weeks. Now, at the start of it, the intensity is going to be incredibly high. But then when you get about 5 days out from your grading, you're going to taper right off down. And that's to have a little bit of active recovery. You're still going to do some karate. You're just going to go through the motions probably at a medium intensity, so you go in fresh. And whereas the pre-comp is putting the roof on top of your house, the competition phase, that's doing the interior, setting it right up to cap it off and leave it exactly how you need it for your peak performance. And that's how we go about using a periodized program. Understand the importance of it. Now, when you actually start designing your program, start at the date that your grading is and start working back. You go, I've only got 4 months. You go, okay, well, the pre-comp or the competition rate, that's going to be 1 week. My pre-comp, probably 3 weeks. My specific prep, that's going to be 5 to 6 weeks. My general prep, 6 or so weeks. And then you start your training. If it's got 6 months, it's probably 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. If you've got longer than that, that's even better. So find out when your date is, when you are hoping to grade. And calculate backwards from that date and then start your preparation. And again, when we start doing our conditioning for this, think the grading. What do we do in the grading? Progressive overload, movement patterns. So of course, once we've done that, then we're off and running. So good luck with your training. If you've got any questions, send me a message, see me in the dojo, I'm quite right. Now the next few videos are going to demonstrate the way I went about my training for conditioning, for the black belt grading, which you can use if you want or apply it the own way you want. It's up to you guys. You're training for black belt or you are higher and going for your higher dans. How you wish to apply it is up to you. I'm just showing this is what I did and it seemed to have worked extremely well. So again, look out for the next video when we start demonstrating what I went through in my general preparation phase to lay down that foundation of aerobic capacity to then develop my anaerobic capacity for the grading. All right guys, stay tuned and have a look out for the next video.